Okay, so I'm going to be attempting to recreate the Hulk hand cake, which is where Hulk's hands are moulded around this, and they look like they're holding this baseboard up, and then the cake will sit on here. So I've got some cake dummies here just to kind of show you what it's going to look like. So I have a cake there, and then this is going to be a two-tiered cake, so you kind of get the picture of what it's going to look like. My base tier is going to be a bit bigger than that. They're not to size, but it just gives you, and that's not in the middle, which is annoying, but it just gives you the rough idea of what the cake's going to look like. You've probably seen it. So to make this frame, to make the base, what I've done is, let me just take these off again. What I've done is bought some 12mm MDF and then cut into circles. This top one, I've got the measurements over here if you just bear with me. The top one is going to be, or what I've chosen, you can make these any size you want depending on what size you tier cakes, how big you want to make it. So the top one I've gone for 14 inch. So this is 14 inch round by 12mm deep, and the base one is, it's quite a big one, it's 19 inch round, again 12mm. I've gone for 12mm because then I can use 15mm ribbon once I've covered the base, two bases in fondant. I can then use the 15mm ribbon to trim it. So then I've mounted both of these onto some 2x2 wooden blocks, and I've made them 6 inches tall. Again, depending on how grand you want it to be, how big you want this gap, how big you're doing your cakes on top. The sizes are going to be quite personal to you, depending on what size of everything else, basically. But yeah, that is the main frame for this cake. When I first sort of saw the cake, I was quite daunted. I was like, oh my gosh, how is that done? But it's actually quite simple. So yeah, just some MDF, which I'll then be covering in some tape, which again I've got, which will protect the MDF board. In this is the tape. So I'll be sticking that to the board, but that will protect the MDF board, because if this gets wet, it renders it useless, basically. So I'll cover it in that tape, which will then allow me to cover it in the fondant. I'll then also wrap these in tin foil, again to protect it from any water, plus it makes it food safe as well. So for the Hulk hands, I'm going with Rice Krispie treats. So once I've covered these in tin foil, I'll be able to mould the Rice Krispie treats around that and make the Hulk hands. But yeah, this is just a quick video on how I made the base. Quite simple. Oh, just to point out as well, so underneath they are held in place with 2 screws, and again on the top, and they just, I mean, it's solid. That ain't going anywhere. And that's the base for the cake. So join me for the next one, where I think I do another video when I've done the Hulk hands, when I've covered the base and I've done the Hulk hands. So see you soon.